Good day, good evening, Russell traders around the world, wherever you may be. I'm David of TradingFibs.com to give you the daily recap for May 28th, 2013. As you can see, we had a most incredible run up, almost 200 ticks from yesterday's close from the monthly R2 at 985.6 to run up to an open around 995, 956, and to come up to a high today of 1005.9, which happens to be the top of the 1 hour open range, and then price came down and leveled out pretty much not too far from our market open. Quick orientation again for our newcomers. The upper left hand corner is my 5-minute bar, 25-minute open range. My upper right hand corner I have Heikin Ashi bars with a 534 exponential moving average, with a 25-minute open range and a 1 hour open range integrated. Lower left-hand corner, I have my Camarilla pivots, including daily pivots, support and resist lines. And lower right-hand corner, I have my post 1 hour open range, as well as support and resistance. As you can see, amazing open gap here. Had you been sitting on that, what an incredible move. We could follow through here from yesterday's EMA crossover, pretty much kept in line the entire length all the way up. Also on our camera, let's see. Also on our, here we go. Also on our 4 EMA, again, for those traders who don't hold overnight, potential open. Here we still had the 5 above the 13, 21, and 80 exponential moving averages, and pretty much held price up until when we had a crossover here at around post 6:30, 7:38, about 1.5 hours past the open. So this 4 EMA combined with the 2 EMA would have kept you in the trade depending on when you entered. You could have entered at the market open. My trading style is to wait until the 25-minute open range sets up. First trade of the day could have been, which I did not take based on several factors, which I will show. Here we have the 25-minute open range bar buying with a D line that was up at a high around 2,000. Market breadth was approximately a ratio of 12 to 1, which is very strong buying. As you can see, we started out with some ticks that were above 0, and within the 25-minute range, this would have been my first bar that was setting up for an entry. As you can see, I have a 50-50 close here. So this time being 6:55, 5 minutes prior to the economic data. I usually will sit that one out. You can see here that 6:55 would have still been a bar underneath the 25-minute open range, so hands off. You can see sideways action once economic data did come out, mostly economic data being positive today. The first real technical bar might have been 7:15, which we had a green up, strong buying, followed by another green bar, which really just went up almost to the high of the weekly R1 here. So if we time our bar here, 7:15, again, I'm on Pacific Coast time, 3 hours behind New York time. My 7:15 bar would have been right here, which technically would have given you about 10, 11, about 15 ticks, which is 15 ticks you didn't have yesterday or when you opened the trade today. So it is there was some money to be made here. However, I decided to sit with this one out. In support, also, that Camarilla pivots, we really opened up against, above all, support, resistance. Camarilla pivots were already down here, so action was really to the upside. And as you can see, here's my 1 hour open range. Now, one of the things that I did start to notice as we came up close, here we're at 7:15, that would have been the first bar, 7:20. At this point, my only entry, as I posted in my trading room, was I was not going to take an entry till price broke above 1005.9 or price broke above, below the 25-minute open range at 995.5. When I have a gap up like that, that's the only way I'm going to take a trade. So here I didn't take it. I was going to wait until an entry either broke above or came below the 25-minute open range, which was the next opportunity at 10:50 Pacific time, in which I had a first red bar closing underneath the 25-minute open range. Side by side, as you can see here, I have strong selling. I already have an EMA crossover over here. And by the time I get to 10:53, so waiting, 10:48, 10:53, this would have been one of my first two bars that would have entered for a nice 40 tick drop. So that really was the trade of the day. While there was an opportunity up here, this really was the patience of waiting for the setup and out as we came down. Looking at other support and resistance lines, here we had already come down to this would have been let's see, R1, R2. So taking off contracts there, bar comes up, we have a turnaround. So you have it to start to have a turnaround on the Heikin Ashi bars and got out of the trade. One of the other notable things of the day, we had some significant Fibonacci drawings as well. Fibonacci extension going from the high to the crossover, back up again. Price hit fib target 1, fib target 2, 3, 4, and eventually came down to fib target 5 and reversed itself. So I do use Fibonacci extensions to remove contracts along the way. However, since the entry was way up above here and I wasn't taking any trades inside the range, this technically would have been fib target 1 here at 994.6, but that's approximately where the entry would have been. So I would have just wrote it down to here, 989.4, and taken off my first set of contracts anyway, which happened to line up with the daily pivot. The daily R resistance line over here at R2. Also on the 1 minute, 1 hour open range, here we can see that also price came down to, so I had two lines to go off here to look at. I had R1, R2 at 989.3, 989.4. I had a Fibonacci extension, and I had a support line at S2 on my 1 hour open range. So that's multiple lines that I was looking at, knowing that contracts would come off there. So not a bad move. Looking at the other indices, we could see that price movement was the same. All underneath, we had a short burst above, like the Russell in the morning. A little chop action here on the NASDAQ, but as price came through the 25-minute open range, finally the breakdown here. YM acted a little bit more accordingly to the TF. A little chop action here. The TF really was the only indice that really just dropped all the way down. Here we can see crude. Crude really stayed within the 25-minute open range, so that would have been hands off for today. And soybeans made a nice pop, and Apple chopped it up inside the range until it came down, tested the 25-minute open range high, and then completed the follow through to the downside. Again, simply setting up a 25-minute open range, support with Heikin Ashi, bars and 534 EMA. You could time your entry better with Fibonacci extensions. Works out quite well. So again, quick recap. We had a potential entry here at the top. I decided not to take anything based on market internals. We were at a high, but AD line started to come down here, followed by price. As you can see, the market breadth was following up. But again, congruence here, we had tick down, we had AD line coming down, so not all three in unison. Market breadth was slowing down a little bit. The average for the most part of the day for the tick was in the red here, as most of these bars actually did close underneath the zero line. So best opportunity of the day would have been to entry all the way here yesterday. You potentially, knowing that the market opened above all pivot lines and all Camarilla pivot lines and support and resistance, very strong at the open, with market breadth being very strong, would have been a potential opportunity to get in. I decided to sit that one out. watching the 25-minute open range here, decided to sit and took the entry here. Later on in the PM session, late AM session here in the West Coast, came up with about a 40 tick drive here to the Fibonacci extension. The key thing here is that price hit three support lines: daily R2, a post 1 hour support line, as well as a Fibonacci extension. Price turned around as soon as I had some blue candles up. I decided at that point, since we had mostly an up day, that in congruence with the market internals, as we could see here, price started to come up. Price was starting to come up already. I decided to take my contracts off, and I was out. Well, I hope every day is like today. This is the daily recap for May 20th, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.